Yeah, last time I think just before the race, a big storm came by and sort of just gave the track a little bit of that heavy going at that moment. And I don't think he really appreciated that because he was traveling nicely, but he did not cooking up well with me. But he did hit the line very strong. Um, but I think that's the only thing that got him beat last time.
Looking at the race for Sunday, barrier 12 doesn't look ideal.
Well, with him, I really don't mind because he's a big horse and he comes from he can be in the pace, you know. Even when he won before, he had a wide gate and he overcame the draw. So I don't think there's a big worry about the gate. We've got a long back straight to make a decision, but the horse is going well. So let's just hope he can bring back the win again.
This is obviously a horse from Frankie Law's stable. Frankie's going particularly well. He's up the top of the Trainers' Premiership at the moment. You've had a bit of success with him. Why do you think Frankie's having the success at the moment that he is?
Yeah, well, of course I've had a good relationship with Frankie, working with John. Well, of course he's come from John's side, so he must be a lot of experience, and of course he's been around, and he's a good guy. You know, he's a good person, and I think he deserves success. Actually, he really put in the work. So I think the winners he's having, you could see how he's already improved on many horses already. So it's just about time when he starts getting those really good horses, and I think he's gonna be a trainer that everybody will want to ride for one day.
Michael Master Bernini, this is his second run for you. What was your take on his first run?
Good run. I sort of always thought the 1200 would be a bit short for him, and he drew wide, so we had to ride him back where he was anyway. But I thought he made up some nice ground in the straight, and certainly the 14 will suit him better on Sunday, albeit we've drawn the outside gate again. But I do think he'll get even further later on.
So go back from that wide gate again?
Yeah, I'll have a chat to Chad, but I'd say we probably would have to just be a bit patient early and give him a chance. If the race sets up for him to really finish on strongly and well and good, but as I said before, I think he will continue to improve as his races stretch out a bit.
So is he a horse you've got a bit of time for then?
Yeah, he only came to me obviously at the end of last season, and he's always sort of shown me a little bit. But I just think he's one of these young horses that's still learning his trade, and he'll appreciate stretching out a bit further.
Tommy, HELENE charisma, how's his preparation been leading into Sunday?
Yeah, really nice. Probably would have liked to get another trial into him, but look, we feel he's fit enough going into the weekend. He'll probably go back a little bit from the barrier, but I've changed the gear around on him a little bit this preparation, and he seems to be not hanging as bad, because that was a thing that probably cost him a couple of times last preparation. But John's got him as well as we can have for a first up run.
Just from your experience, temperament-wise, there's been a lot of talk about him still being a stallion. Do you feel he's got any temperament issues or anything like that?
No, he's a beautiful rider. He knows he's a colt, don't get me wrong. He jumps around a little bit and plays around, but once you get him out on the track and he starts his work, it's all business. And as I said, the only problem we really had with him last preparation was that hanging in, but we feel like we've got that under control to a certain extent, and we feel that he'll run very well on the weekend and leading into obviously December.
John, looking at the Premier Bowl, Mr. Stunning, what did you think of his first up run?
His first start was good, rain affected track, but he seemed to begin smartly, and was very keen to race. The middle section was pretty quick, so he's got that out of his system, and I think he had pretty good experience, so he should improve on that.
Were you happy with his barrier trial?
Yeah, trialled nicely. Again, he sort of began well, and he was nice and relaxed and settled throughout the trial. And then the last bit of the trial, when the horses come around him, he was a bit keen. But I think all the signs look fine to me.
The Wizard of Oz must have been very satisfying for you to get that win towards the end of last season, after he's obviously had a number of issues throughout his career.
Yeah, he hasn't had a perfect preparations in the last couple of years, but now I think he's okay. His win at 1400 metres was very impressive, carrying that weight. But now he's got to be into Group 1s and set races, his life becomes more difficult. But he's certainly promising to do more.
Is he just as effective over 1200?
I think that his record says, and his last performance says, that 1400 is an ideal distance for him. But we'll have to work with what we've got. He's in a 1200 metre race. If it's fast run, well, he'll probably come into it pretty strongly at the finish. And with 1600 metre races, well, he's probably doubtful at the journey. So he's just one of those 1400 metre horses that will have to live with the system.
What about Amazing Kids and DB Pin, both coming out of the National Day Cup as well?
Amazing Kids didn't have a long preparation or a lot of work going into the first race, so it was problematical whether he'd come out of it well. But at home he's done extremely well since the race, so I'm not concerned about him. I think he'll run well again. And DB Penn has got a bit of an awkward draw, to say the least, but if the first 2 or 3 horses can run along and show their natural speed, he'll probably get over there running 3rd or 4th and hopefully just one off the fence.
Werther Tommy, he's one of 6 horses in the race for John Moore. Was it a difficult decision to pick him?
Oh look, I was probably leaning towards HELENE Paragon early on when I first got here, but after riding both of the horses in work, I felt that HELENE Paragon, after coming off a little bit of a setback, he's probably not as fit as what Werther is, and Werther's just had an uninterrupted preparation, which he was probably the opposite. He had the interrupted preparation last prep, but he's going very well. His gallop here yesterday morning was really good, and he's drawn a nice barrier to get a good run. There's a bit of speed inside of us, so hopefully we can just get him to switch off and let him find the line, and I believe he's going well enough.
What did you think of his barrier trial?
Yeah, I was very pleased. Didn't expect him to be that forward, but that's why I guess we felt that he didn't need another one. We feel he's fit enough to go off the one trial, and as I said, 1,000 metres down the straight isn't his go, so for him to finish off the way he did, we're very pleased with.
Do you feel he can then be right on the finish, first up 1600?
Yeah, look, he'll be very competitive. I feel he can run in the first 5. Whether he can win, I guess we've got to have the right run to do that, but I feel, and more so John feels, because he knows the horse better than me, that he's probably got him as good as he ever has first up, and he's won first up, albeit it was a Class 2, but he's a much better horse than he was then now.
Nothing I'm like more, John. 4 from 4, he's had a long break. How's he come back from that?
Seems okay. He hasn't raced for 6 months, but I can't sort of wait any longer. That's the reason he's got to go, and he's trained up well. He did have a nice break, obviously. So his 3 trials have been good. He seems to be trialling as if he needs a race. So we'll give him that, and hopefully he'll continue on his way.
Physically and mentally, all of those sort of things, has there been development since that break?
I don't know if there's been development, but he's certainly never had any issues anyway. He's always had a good temperament, and he's always been physically strong enough to ask him to do what I've asked him to do. So he's never had any issues. He's in good shape.
Obviously, step by step, early in the preparation, but being a 4-year-old, is the 4-year-old series always in the back of your mind with him?
Of course, yeah. He'll go for the Classic Mile. It'll be his first feature race, and we'll run him a couple of times before that, and then on that day we'll find out if he can run his 1600.